Hola guys, Katie here. Welcome to my full interview with Marilyn Vance, the incredible costume designer behind the classic film, The Breakfast Club. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the corresponding episode of Film to Fashion, where I show you how to create your very own styles inspired by the iconic characters in this film. Don't forget to click subscribe for more great interviews and episodes.
Hello.
Marilyn, hello, how are you?
Good. Do you see me? I see you you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. You're looking great as well. I understand it's very hot over there at the moment though.
God, it is. I mean, I probably look like a, washed out rag. But I want to hear all about what you're doing, and I want to tell you anything you'd like to know about the interest that you have in The Breakfast Club or any of those films, from that period. Because I did quite a few. High school.
Yeah. I'm very excited to be able to talk to you about, yes, specifically The Breakfast Club today, but I know you've worked on so many films and a lot of John Hughes films as well, I understand.
Yes, mostly, yeah. I did 7 films with him.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. But I needed to get into the adult world,
All of the outfits in The Breakfast Club are very, very timeless, and I'm going to be recreating the 5 main characters. I was wondering if you had any specific tips or tricks for me when recreating those main characters?
In what way are you going to recreate them? For your videos?
Yeah, for my videos, I'm going to be showing my viewers, because so many of them are a huge fan of The Breakfast Club. I get requests all the time to feature the fashions from it. So
that's so exciting. I mean, for me to hear that, it's like, I don't know how many years, 26 years ago or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I love it because it is, those characters are alive today. We don't necessarily see them as well as we saw them back then because they were very individualized, and departmentalized. Is that the word I think I'm looking for? And today, even the nerdiest or the most backward people kids especially, have access to fashion and the way they want to look and how they feel about it, which is wonderful because that expression is what I enjoy today.
Yeah.
Seeing it.
And along that kind of topic there, like you were saying, even kind of like the nerdier kids, so like Brian the Brain in the movie, today, how do you think he would kind of tweak his outfit to be a little bit more fashion forward?
I'd make him, do you know Urban Outfitters, that store? Yeah, he would be more in the Urban Outfitter vein, which was also be his character, but slightly hipper,
Yeah, definitely. And one of my favorite looks of the film is definitely Bender's look. I think that all of his layers just make the perfect outfit for him. Do you think you could see someone today wearing something similar, or what upgrades do you think I could make to dress a modern day Bender?
I think it exists today. His look is totally existent. We had to fix those plaid shirts because at that time they didn't match up, so it had you don't want to be distracted. So we had to make sure that the plaids were, even, so you didn't take your eye away from his look and say, oh, look at that plaid shirt, it's all over the place. Yeah. But people don't know that, that you go through such an incredible time creating those looks and making sure that things like that don't happen, then taking the sleeves off of things and fraying it just so, washing it, stepping on it, pouncing on it, and then putting it in the washing machine. Seriously, this is what, you do. And the same with, the boots and the overcoat is definitely a thrift store. I get so much mail about The Breakfast Club. I don't even know how they find me. These, you know, probably on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have already thrifted like the big overcoat for Bender's look, which we were very excited about. So
Adam told me.
to see how his outfit comes together.
Yeah, but you know, the worst that could happen with thrift store jackets and coats is maybe replacing the lining. It might not be in good shape, but most of the stores would sell more perfect condition if they could.
Yeah. And looking at some of the other characters as well, Claire, like we spoke about before, I absolutely love her combination of pink and brown. I think that is such a classic. For a modern day Claire, do you think you would keep that same sort of sophisticated look, or for the princess of today, would you shorten the skirt hem or anything like that?
No, I think it's a great choice, the direction she took. Much more sophisticated, and it made her relationship with her parents that much more intense because she was not that little prissy, spoiled brat, but she was spoiled, but in a more adult, you know, type of, because she would go shopping. They would buy her off. She had diamond earrings, you know. But the actual, that was a great idea on her part to recreate that character, but so she's not who she was originally in the visual. That was a wonderful choice, actually, and I was all for it. But that's not what they had planned in the beginning, you know, with our meetings and everything else. So I was all for that. Everyone else, it was very interesting. Ali Sheedy we had to make almost everything for her except a big black cashmere sweater that she's supposedly wearing that was her father's. But black wasn't happening at that time. You know, black, you just didn't get black. I was just getting attuned with that, and I felt that she was so dark, but if I put her in pitch black, it wouldn't help the character. It would just say, oh, look at her, she's the dark one, you know? So I found prints that worked, and we made her the skirts, and made that purse for her also, with another pattern with black. So she was dark but light, and the coat, you know, with the big fur trimmed hood and everything for her. And supposedly she was wearing her father's black V-neck cashmere sweater over all of that. It was just interesting creating her because she was, you know, the outsider of all those characters, as much as you know, Anthony Michael Hall was also an outsider. He was more recognizable, and you could relate to him because he was a nerd. That, you know, every generation has nerds, especially at that time. And they didn't call it Ivy League; they just called it nerd. And so, you know, with the characters in the book, I mean, in the script, we drew them out. You know, the physical. And captured each board of, like Allie's board. I wish I could show you them. I have them on my phone. I don't know if I could bring it up for you to see the boards, but I have the 5 boards. And the same with Emilio. You know, I had to cut away the T-shirts just to give him a more shoulder, you know, so he looked tougher and stronger than he was. And yeah, we made, and even made the jacket, because I didn't want those, a jacket with a waistband. I wanted him, you know, because he's not the tallest person. I didn't want to break him up even more. He's a great guy. So doing his look was actually reconstructing a whole, you know, look for him that looked like anybody, you know, could recognize it. And that's the trick of doing those characters.
Yeah. And with Alison's look, and I suppose practically all of the characters, would you say one of the biggest things to keep in mind is the layering of the outfits?
Especially in that particular script. They are, you are going to see them the entire film, from walking in to everything they have on, you know, from being dropped off to walking into the classroom to everything. So it was without revealing it. I mean, just think about it, it would be horrible. So we had to reveal the characters. Of course, the outerwear was part of everything, but it was a small part. As we peeled away the layers, you know, we got to see the core of each character. So that was a great experience for me, because I had to watch every individual move that each one of them made, and then have the realization of who they are. Who are they, you know? And without being over the top, you want to be subtle, but at the same time, you want to capture character. So that's not easy. That was difficult. I'm glad you noted. It was very difficult and very time-consuming, and also played a big part in the characters had to, you know, the actors had to submit also, you know, to these variations of the theme of who they were. So it was a lot of work, but it was, you know.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely adds a lot to the film, because like you say, we're seeing them for the entire movie in just one look, so the layers are very, very important.
Very important, right, yes. And as they peel away, it's just, it was exciting to actually see the finished product, because John, especially The Breakfast Club, I think he wrote it in 2 days or something. I mean, he was so prolific and so crazy with how smart he was and how he captured the soul of these kids. It was amazing. You know, he was prolific, and the music helped a great deal.
Yeah. Well, I think that we have gotten a lot of great info and tips from you today. It's been so awesome to just pick your brain about The Breakfast Club. Thank you so, so much for letting me.
Well, thank you, and thank you for letting me tell you how authentic we're trying to be with these movies, because that's really, it's all about character, which seems to go over well, thank God. And it's a lot of fun to create. It really is. A lot of work, though. People just think, just go and buy this and buy that. But
exactly.
Yeah, it's to bring it to the real thing, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm definitely very inspired by costume designers, because like you say, it's so much more work put into kind of producing a character rather than just like any old outfit that's on trend sort of thing. So it's been such a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Thank you, thank you. It's a harder job than it appears to be. It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it if you capture that spirit of who you're doing. It's great. But you're doing beautifully, and I'm going to keep following you and keep in touch.
Yes, definitely keep in touch. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.